realize I'm not expected, Uncle Charles, but aren't you even going to invite me in?
Of course, Courtney. It's very nice to see you. I heard that you'd chosen Kingsley, but I didn't pursue it because I know how independent you young people can be.
Oh, may I get you and the young lady anything, sir?
Mrs. Lucas, I would like to present my niece, Courtney, Preston's daughter.
Oh, I'm pleased to meet you, Miss Courtney. I've heard a great deal about your family.
Oh, all good, I hope.
Of course, of course. Why not? What else? How about something to drink?
Oh, no, thank you. I don't care for anything. I just thought it was about time I stopped by to say hello. I can't stay too long.
Oh, all right. Well, I don't think I want anything else either, thank you.
Oh, very well, sir. It was nice meeting you. I hope you enjoy your stay in Kingsley.
Thank you.
Sit down, sit down. What do you think of our fair college? Are you all settled in and studying hard, of course?
Oh, well, the best thing about the college is that it's small and far away from Chicago. As far as studying, well, maybe around finals.
Oh, young people haven't changed that much. What about Preston, though? I sensed there might be something wrong the last time we talked.
Oh, he's doing very well, Uncle Charles. He's had some problems, but things are going very well.
Business, I suspect. You know, I tried to tell him how to run those shipyards, but, you know your father. Nobody can tell him anything.
Well, you know, that's exactly what he says about you, Uncle Charles.
Really?
Dan, you don't realize what I've been going through. I haven't had a decent night's sleep in weeks.
What seems to be the problem, Doug?
How can you sit there and ask me that? You know perfectly well what the problem is. I don't know how I got myself into this mess.
Listen to me, you got yourself into this lucrative situation, not mess, by helping out an old friend, that's all.
Yeah, great. At the expense of another old friend. I don't like this, Dan, and I don't like the position you put me in.
Well, listen, old buddy, that is the position you're in, so you ought to make the best of it.
Well, I can't. I'm sorry. I just can't go through with this thing. I've thought it through long and hard. I just can't. Ben saved Nancy's life.
Now look, what I've got here is a ready-made gold mine, and I sort of walked into it by accident, but you are not going to ruin it for me.
Fine. That's just fine. But I want out, and I want out right now. Look, I didn't realize when I first got into this thing that my loyalties to you, my friendship, that Ben was going to drag me into such a compromise. Look, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll make up some excuse to get out of the case. Ben can get another lawyer. You can go right ahead with your plans.
No, there won't be another lawyer representing Ben Martin in this case. I want you sitting across from me on the counselor's bench. You are my insurance that this thing goes the way it's supposed to go. Now, if we let him, Ben Martin could develop a halfway decent case. You will be there to make sure that doesn't happen.
What if I don't?
I'm just gonna forget that you said that, Doug.
Don't, Dan. Because I have had enough. You know, you can get some other little stool pigeon for your scam. But I won't do it.
Sit down.
Let go. What?
I think it's about time that you and I discuss repayment of certain favors. To wit, a very special favor I did for you back in law school. I gave you your career, Doug. And this is a good time for you to start repayment.
Well, have you had a chance to take a look at Kingsley since your arrival?
Not too much. The people seem nice, though. I'm kind of keeping a low profile.
Oh, really? Any particular reason?
Oh, I had too much of the social whirlwind on the North Shore. I'm adapting to a much quieter lifestyle. Actually, I'm going to my first formal tomorrow night. The Christmas dance?
And who is the lucky young man?
Daddy! Daddy, wait till you see this. Got Eric's report card here. He has 4 A's, a B, and... Courtney! I don't believe it. Is this really you? I mean, the last time I saw you, you were what, about this big?
Oh, I don't remember the exact year, but I do remember you dressing me up in your clothes and putting your makeup on me.
Oh, yes. Well, yeah. Yeah, I remember that, too. Your mother was so mad at me, I didn't think she was ever going to stop yelling.
You know, as far as I remember, you were always getting me into that kind of trouble. Every time we got together for the holidays, you and I found some kind of mischief to get into.
Yeah, but that was a lifetime ago, my dear.
Oh, it was. But, you know, it always made the holidays so special for me.
Doesn't she look terrific?
She looks marvelous. And those were wonderful times when the whole Carpenter clan could get together for the holidays in Chicago. It's a shame we can't do it now. But, Mim, inasmuch as this is Courtney's first visit here today, I think that in the future we make a special effort so she won't feel like a stranger.
Why are you living here?
I'm a freshman at Kingsley College, and I promise it won't be so long between visits from
Well,
now.
really, we're going to hold you to that.
And she has been invited to the Christmas formal.
Oh, really? Yes, it's wonderful. Do you need some help, maybe?
Well, actually, there is one small problem.
What's that?
Due to the normal administrative foul-up, they're painting my dorm room.
Tomorrow?
Yes, on what could possibly be the most important night since I've arrived.
And you need a place to stay.
Exactly. I was going to stay with a girlfriend, but
Courtney, I'm afraid I can't be much help there. All I would have to offer is I own Redland's house in Chesterfield, and it's not exactly the kind of area you'd want to be picked up in. Well, I mean for a special occasion. Like
Well, she's certainly welcome to stay here. There's plenty of room.
Well, good. That is a wonderful idea.
Oh, you sure it wouldn't be a bother?
Of course not. No bother at all.
Okay, good. Then it's all settled. Why don't I pick you up at your dorm room with your dress and everything? We'll bring you back here, and I'll help put it all together. And I think you're going to be quite a sensation.
You know, I didn't know back in law school, you gave me that report, I was supposed to be exchanging it for my whole career of legal ethics.
I'm not asking for a whole career of anything, Doug. I'm just asking for your cooperation. It's one case, the case of Nancy Lawson versus Ben Martin. That's all. Now, is that so tough?
Yeah, it is. You know, because it's not only unlawful, and it is morally wrong.
Oh, what was morally wrong was when you took that thesis I gave you back in 1978. You know, as a matter of fact, there's still a copy of that very same paper in my possession in a very safe place. You understand what I'm saying to you, don't you?
Man, I don't believe you would stoop that low.
Oh, yeah. If I were to give a copy of that paper to the board, they would disbar you so fast you wouldn't know what hit you. See, plagiarism is something that those people tend to frown on, especially when it's committed to get a professional degree.
You know, I was always wondering, when you gave me that report, when you were going to turn on me.
Oh, come on. Knock off the melodrama, Doug. Look, I'm not the one here who's turning on somebody. I'm merely trying to point out to you what might happen if that paper were to fall into the wrong hands. Now, why would I want to ruin your career, huh? After all, I'm responsible for it.
Yeah, and you're never going to let me forget that, are you?
I don't like to make threats, Doug. For your sake, as well as mine, I'm going to try to forget that we had this little conversation, and I would suggest that you do the same. See you in court, counsel.
I'll get it, Mrs. Lucas. It's probably Lori.
Hello. You ready for lunch?
I just about said I want you to come in first and meet a very special person.
Hello, Mr. Carpenter.
Lori Martin, I'd like you to meet my cousin, Courtney Carpenter, late of Chicago, now attending Kingsley.
Cousin? Well, I didn't know you had a cousin right here.
Neither did she until today. I've only been in town a semester, and I just got around to coming by.
Well, I am glad to meet you. And don't feel bad about not being able to run around and see people when you're going to Kingsley. I know from firsthand experience they really keep you hopping over here.
Well, ladies, I've got some things to attend to.
Well, have a seat a moment. Courtney was just telling me that she'll be going to the formal tomorrow night.
Oh, that's wonderful. You'll have a fabulous time.
Oh, I hope so. It was almost a disaster until Mary...
Yeah. See, Courtney's dorm room was being painted, so she didn't really have a place to get ready. So she'll be coming over here tomorrow night, and we're going to have a fabulous time. I'm going to help her get it all together, which is, of course, one of my specialties. Yes. Did you say who was taking you?
Oh, he's a really terrific guy. Actually, he's the only decent guy that I've met since I've been here in Kingsley.
Yeah, listen, I really hate to break up our fun, but Lori and I have a lunch date with Babs.
Yes.
We're gonna be late.
Listen, why don't you join us, Courtney? Really, you're welcome, and you'd really get a kick out of Babs.
Oh, I'd love to, but I have to get back to the school. I've got a lot of studying to do. I also have a million things to do to get ready for tomorrow night.
All right.
I understand all that, but I'm so glad you stopped
Oh,
by.
yeah.
It's great to see you, Courtney. It really is.
Me too.
So you won't forget. I'll come by tomorrow, pick you up, and be prepared for everything. Okay?
Uh-oh, you're not going to be making me up like you did when I was 12, are you?
Oh, gosh.
Okay, I promise.
Hey, listen, I know another really pretty neat guy up there at Kingsley. So, if your date doesn't work out so well, you be sure and let me know, and I'll introduce you to my brother.
I might take you up on that. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Who is it?
It's me, Russ.
Hello, Russ.
Hi. Mind if I come in?
You're in.
Right. Hey, well, listen, what are you doing in the house today like this? I mean, beautiful day, lots of sunshine outside. You gotta be outside and get some fresh air.
To tell the truth, I was enjoying this book.
Alice in Wonderland. Heavy stuff.
Little fantasy never hurt anyone.
So long as you remember that it's just fantasy and not the real thing.
Sometimes I wonder which is better. You can get lost in fantasy. The truth just stares you in the face.
Are you all right?
Have you ever wondered, even for a moment, how much the truth is really worth? I mean, is it worth hurting someone over or causing someone to suffer?
I had to make that decision once. I had the choice of helping someone I knew or hurting somebody I loved.
How do you mean?
How soon they forget. That whole mess with my father getting me into the organization.
Oh, right. You wanted to get in the organization, though.
Right. I was so ready to get ahead that I just didn't even think about the consequences. I just shut my mouth and did what I was told. But when Mary Mason got kidnapped, I don't know, I guess I couldn't go along with that. You see, she was different. She was someone that I knew. And I knew she was gonna be dead unless I did something. So I did. And helping her escape cost my father's life. But that's a decision that just had to be made, Stacy, no matter what the consequences were or the circumstances.
In other words, you did the right thing, and it caused someone else to suffer.
The right thing, yeah.
You miss your father, don't you?
That I do.
If you had to do it over again, would you do it the same way?
Huh, good question. I think so. I lost my father, but I got to see what he was really like. And I got to see what I was really like, which was pretty frightening. But at least I got to save the lives of someone who deserved to live. Not like me and Vince, dead. See, that was the truth. And that's what hurt. But at least I can sleep nights. Most of the time.
You go ahead and sit down. I'll be right there.
Sure. Okay.
Doug? Hi.
Lori, hi. What you doing here?
Oh, my friends and I just came by for a late lunch.
I see.
Could I sit down?
Yeah, sure, of course, please. So, would you like to order anything? Can I order anything for you?
Oh, no, thank you. I'll be ordering with my friends.
Yeah, right.
Are you all right, Doug?
Yeah, why? Fine, sure. Just lost in thought there for a second. Sorry.
Doug, if you're worried about the trial, I want you to know that I know you're doing the best you can, and I know Ben feels that way too. I mean, what better lawyer to have, right, than a friend?
Right. Listen, Lori, I've got to get back to my office. I'm sorry. I'm sure your friends are ready to order by now, too.
Sure.
I've got to go.
Okay. Well, it's good to see you.
Tell Ben that you'd contact me real soon.
All right.
I'll see you.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to see you didn't start without me.
Well, almost. Babs said she was just about ready to start on the flowers.
Yes, but they weren't my color.
Oh, okay.
Who was that guy anyway?
Well, he's Ben's attorney, and he's a really nice guy, but he definitely seemed down. I think he's getting a personal interest in this whole thing, and it's starting to bother him.
I'm sure it was nothing. He probably has a lot on his mind.
Yeah, if he's like another attorney I know, he probably has everything on his mind.
And what does that mean?
Oh, you know, just all that legal mumbo jumbo. I mean, honestly, with all that double talk they use, it's a wonder they could even think straight. Speaking of this case, why doesn't Nancy just drop the whole thing and make life easier for a lot of people? Brother.
Well, Babs, I really think that Nancy's starting to change her ways.
I really do, too. I told Ben that.
Sure, and next you're gonna tell me the one about the leopard that changed his spots. Look, Nancy Lawson is just as big a bum today as she ever was. Only I'm too much of a lady to go into it. I can admire her for one thing, though, being consistent.
Well, I know what you mean, Babs. I really do. But if Nancy were to change, would we all be able to forgive her? I don't know if I could.
Well, let's face it. I mean, the three of us here have just as much reason as anybody to hate Nancy. I mean, you two especially. So are you telling me that if she came along and said she changed, you'd just pat her on the back and smile and say, "Hey, that's okay, Nancy. No sweat." I'm sorry, but I find that a little hard to swallow.
Babs, why do you find it so hard to believe that Nancy could change? I mean, after all, I changed a lot, and you did too. And if we can change, so can she.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. She is changing, in one way for sure.
She dropped the suit.
She's moving to another country.
Neither.
So what is it? Are you gonna keep us in suspense?
Nancy Lawson and Dan Myers are getting married.
Look, Russ, I really just think I'd like to spend the rest of the afternoon reading and relaxing.
Listen, Stacy, I'm sorry if I said anything.
No, you didn't say anything. It's just that I don't feel well, and I would like to be alone.
Sure. Sure. Let me ask you just one thing.
What?
I haven't known you very long, but since I have known you, you've been a pretty outgoing person.
You certainly haven't known me for long.
That's what I mean. I heard that before you met Gil, you were pretty withdrawn. I was just wondering. Are you heading back in that direction?
You know, as much as I can't stand Nancy, and I can't stand her, I think she's finally met her match in Dan Myers.
How so?
Well, I can remember being in a position like that, kind of down on my luck, and this sweet-talking guy comes along, hands me this line you wouldn't believe, but I fell for it like a ton of bricks, because it was what I needed to hear. I guess my situation wasn't so different than Nancy's, now that I think about it. I mean, I knew this guy was a crook. I knew that he just used women. He never thought of anybody but himself. But I thought I was different. I thought I could make him really care about me so that he wouldn't want anyone else or need anyone else. Oh, brother, what a jerk I was. I mean, you know how crazy he was about me. He tried to have me killed. That's how much he loved me.
Are you saying you think Nancy's heading in the same direction?
Not necessarily prostitution, but just that her circumstances are similar, that's all.
Well, if so, then we've got to do something to help her.
Miriam's right. I mean, I hate to see her get any more messed up in her life than she already is.
I don't believe this.
Babs, I'm serious.
I am too.
Okay. But don't say I didn't warn you.
If only we could prove to Nancy that Dan has been unfaithful to her, then maybe we could open up her eyes.
Okay, so why don't we just sit down and tell her what we suspect?
Are you kidding? I mean, when a woman is in love like that, she doesn't even want to face her own suspicions, let alone somebody else's.
And maybe he hasn't even left his wife, really. Maybe this is just a big line to Nancy. So that
he can get a bigger piece of the pie when she settles on the lawsuit.
Exactly.
Okay, now, wait a minute. These are all really nice speculations. Now, how are we going to prove any of this?
I don't know. But if we could prove to her that Dan doesn't really love her, we could clear this whole thing up and solve Ben's and my problems.
All we need is a really good plan.
One that keeps you and me out of trouble, please?
Hello?
May I speak with Courtney Carpenter, please?
Well, she's not here right now. You just missed her. By any chance, is this her boyfriend?
Yeah. How did you know?
Well, she's told me quite a bit about you.
She has?
She most certainly has, and you really did just miss her.
Can you tell me when she'll be back?
Yes, she'll be here tomorrow evening.
That's what I was told. Thank you.
You're welcome. Goodbye.
Bye.